He's a singer, and he's a man that can shake, rattle, and roll. And he takes us down memory lane week after week with Where Are They Now? And the Song of the Week. To finish the show, it's our pop encyclopedia, Shane.
Hey, many happy returns, young man.
Yeah, hey, look, what a wonderful week, Shane, because now be careful how you answer this. What's more important now, winning the America's Cup or my birthday today?
That's a big one, mate. That's a tough one.
Which is more important?
Tough answer. Well, I'll consider it. Seeing it's your day, I will say your birthday. But only just, all right?
But the big 70.
It is a big one, a big 70. Of course, I just went down and I had another 70th I'd just been to, and that was a friend of ours, Lloyd Davis, down in the Waikato.
Yeah.
So everyone's turning 70 on me.
Yeah.
Geez, even the band. Everyone's 70. We're all over 70 now, except one of us. The youngest is 50. It's crazy. I never thought I'd be in a band that old.
You started a fashion.
Anyway,
when you did it last year, you started a fashion.
I have. Everyone wants to be 70 now and 71. Look, you had a good day and everything's going great.
Fantastic.
Birthday boy, eh?
We'll be partying long into the night.
I think so, yes. Green room's already hot in there.
Yeah.
People are having a few bubblies and I'll be in there in a sec. I'll be the one. Save some for me.
Now let's go back to the America's Cup. What do you think? Whoa.
I was very confident this time round. You have to be, and they just sailed them. They were just amazing, and I got up very early to watch that last race, and it was still nail-biting stuff.
Yeah, after San Francisco.
Yeah. You thought
just couldn't relax, could you?
It's gonna. Will it happen again? You know. And what a sailor, that captain,
Captain Burling.
The helmsman, yeah.
The helmsman.
What a man. Of course, they've got a great parade coming up.
This week.
And we'll all be out there, ticker tape and everything else, I reckon. It's not going to be in Queen Street this time, unfortunately, but it's going to be a great parade.
Now, Shane, I normally say things like this all pales into insignificance compared to Song of the Week, but I can't this week because nothing pales. With my birthday.
Big 7-0 is the big moment. Yeah. And you don't feel a day older, do you? Isn't it amazing? Nothing changes. Everything's the same.
But there is one wonderful fact, and I'm going to mention it to our audience, that on the 3rd of July, which is today, back in 1968...
Yes.
The Beatles were in a recording studio called Abbey Road.
That's right, Abbey Road, yes.
And they recorded Obladi Oblada.
Yes, and do you know, seeing you're the Beatles freak from way back, I thought that's what our Song of the Week should be.
Yes.
And it is a beauty.
It is a beauty.
Just to help keep you happy. Now, it has been called the worst song ever recorded.
Oh, on my birthday.
I liked it. It got hammered, Even a couple of the Beatles didn't like it. They were quite outspoken about it too. John and George, both of them didn't like the song. And John actually walked away out of the studio at one stage. He got so irate about the song, he just didn't. He had a name for it, and if I'm allowed to swear on camera, he called it Granny's musical shit. That is what he called it. John Lennon, he said, he didn't even play on it. He shook some maracas and banged a tambourine, I think. He did the backing vocals. And he had a little bit of humour in it too, because he had a little bit of fun. But I'll tell you about that in a second. It was credited to Lennon McCartney. But it actually started off, it was Paul McCartney's song totally. He wrote the whole thing. And you remember Desmond Decker? And reggae was just coming into its thing in England, and you had Desmond Decker sang that song, "Ooh, the Israelites, get up in the morning having your breakfast," that sort of stuff.
I remember it.
It was everyone. We did it on Come On in 1968, and it was just catching on. That Jamaican ska thing was going down in England, and that's what inspired Paul McCartney. Now, the Beatles had just been over to India with the meditation, the transcendental meditation and all that sort of stuff. And they were meditating and everything else. But meanwhile, they were still writing a lot of songs. John Lennon was writing, they were all over there writing. And they were about to record the White Album when they got back. And while in India, Paul had started this song off with Obladi Oblada. He'd been inspired by a guy that played congas for him, a Nigerian conga player that he knew, had the acquaintance of. Who used to say that word. He used to say, "Oh, Obladi Oblada," and it was a Nigerian. It's actually a Nigerian language saying, and it means life goes on. Oh well, c'est la vie, life goes on.
Life goes on.
It's a Nigerian quotation, and this guy used to use this all the time. And Paul picked up on them, as he's always looking out for a title for a song. Come on,
like Obladi
Oblada, that'll do me. Wah, life goes on. And so that's where the inspiration for it comes. But this guy, conga player, Steve was his name, and Nigerian, he actually took Paul to court. He was going to sue him, and he wanted equal royalties because he claimed that Paul stole that off of him. And that slogan, Obladi Oblada, was only unique to his family language. They the only ones that used it at home, and no one else outside used that. Which was proved wrong. And in the end, they came to an agreement, and Paul said, look, I'll pay up. He's already been in court for something else. Nothing, it was totally unrelated. And Paul came out and paid off his court costs and everything else. And the guy said, okay, that'll do me, I'm happy. And he let it go. Wow. He wasn't going to win anyway, but he got something out of it. Yeah. So, it's, there's so many stories behind every song, isn't there? Anyway, he got away and he got on with it, and he credited it to Lennon and McCartney. Now, John, when they got in the studio, what they started off, when they got back, they were doing the White Album. They all went to George Harrison's big posh mansion. He had a studio there and everything to do the demos. And they put down 27 demos while they were around at George's house, all songs that were going to be on this White Album, And at the time, they hadn't planned a double album, but it ended up being one. And Obladi was one of the songs. Now, McCartney went in there and they didn't want to play on it much, and they all said, oh, horrible song. He played acoustic guitar and double tracked his vocal, and that was the demo of it. But anyway, when they got to the studios, Abbey Road, where the complete album, now they're doing the business, and George Martin's there and everything, they went over and over this song, Obladi Oblada. They argued about it, and John got angry about it. And he's, like I said, he called it all sorts of names, swear words. He walked out of the studio at one stage and sat outside, smoked a joint, lit up, and under the influence of marijuana came back in because they tried all different speeds. And John went over to the piano and went, ding, 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 like that. He said, that's how it should be played. Lift it up and, give it a boot, sort of thing. Anyway, they kept that piece of piano because they were recording. They kept that piano and they tagged that onto the beginning of the song. That's how that piano intro on Obladi Oblada. Yeah. That's John Lennon playing that. That's the only thing he played on the whole record because it shook a couple of maracas and did BVs. And of course, Desmond Dekker, I mentioned Desmond Dekker before. Now, that's why Desmond gets a mention in the song.
Did he have a barrow in the marketplace?
Well, he probably did back in Trinidad or wherever it was in the West Indies. He'd gone home, and of course, he'd had his hit record, and it was all over for him. And he's at home, he's got his marketplace, his stall down the market. But that's how that was inspired. And there was also another line in it, and Molly lends a hand.
Yeah, who was Molly?
And Molly was just some dolly that he put
Molly
in there.
was a dolly.
Yeah, and what happened was, during the recording of the song, McCartney actually sang Desmond instead of Molly, and Desmond lends a hand, and all the guys said, Desmond does his face, and it was Molly does her face in the song.
Okay.
And he put it back to front, and all the guys said, keep it in, because it gives a bit of character to the song, a bit of a laugh. And they all thought it was funny, and that lends a hand. When you listen carefully to the backing vocals, John Lennon and George Harrison, as I said, weren't very keen on this song, so they had a bit of humour going. And when they were doing the backing vocals, the BVs, when he says hand, they say feet, and they say arm and leg. That's what they were doing all this instead of hand. They just put all these different things in to counteract the melody, because they were sending it up. But John was very vocal that he didn't like the song. And of course, when they came to release the song, he was so anti, he blocked it. John Lennon said, no way, that is not going out as a Beatles single. That is not happening. We're not having that. So, of course, the Marmalade, the Scottish band, turned around and they released it as a single. They recorded it, got in there, did a great version. And of course they got the #1 at the time. I still seem to recall that Beatles had it out as a single over here after the White Album was released. Because when the White Album came out, And that was its first release, so it wasn't released as a single, not in the UK. But Marmalade got the big hit around the world with it. It was actually released in 1976 in the US as a single. Way back, they waited all that time before they released it as a single in America, EMI. So it did come out as a single eventually for the Beatles.
No,
but of course, the Marmalade got the #1 hit, and they were the first Scottish band to ever reach #1 and top the charts in Britain. First Scots band.
Is that a fact?
Yeah, so there you go. Marmalade did them a big favour, big service. And of course, they went on to have quite a few hit singles after that.
Now, the word I could never understand, I'm not even sure you'll know this, Shane, so we'll take a stab at it. Obladi Oblada, life goes on.
Brah.
Was it brah?
You know how, hey man, hey brah, bro.
Or was it bro?
But it's brah. It was the way the West Indians would say it, you know, like, hey, life goes on, brah, you know, brah, brah. And that's all it was. It's not brah. I mean, I know, because everyone thought, why do they sing brah?
Yeah, I'm one of them.
Some poor character came in to come on and had to cover that song. I can't remember his name. I see him, I can't think of his name. And he recorded that, and he had to sing the brah bit, and everyone kept on about brah, brah, and it was just it was a curiosity for everybody. Why is he singing brah? Some connotation towards someone's bra, you know. So brassiere.
It's always a great battle between commercialism and thinking that you're a real artist. You know?
Yes.
So here you had John Lennon.
Absolutely
shying away from being commercial.
That's right. He didn't want to know about that. That was just too far for him.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's been called the worst song ever written. It's also had quite a few accolades.
Who said that? Who said that?
Yeah, some
intellectual,
poll
some
maker.
pointy head and some sort of.
Do you listen to any poll makers these days?
Yeah.
You don't anymore, do you? No, but that's true. That's a true story.
And they did this on the 3rd of July, 1958.
3rd of July, your birthday.
My birthday. Do you realise that I was 21 in that year, 21?
Did you perform that song yourself? Did you actually perform that song in your band in the room?
Yeah, lots of time.
One of your big closers.
But isn't it amazing? I'm 70 today, and that came out when I was 21. It's been recorded when I was 21.
Well, the mind boggles for all of us. I mean, when you're 70, you think back and you think, oh, geez,
wow,
I've been around a long time ago. And, you know, the Beatles never actually recorded, they recorded it, but they never actually performed that song live ever. Due to the band not wanting to play it again, until McCartney resurrected it only in 2009 on one of his American tours, and he's played it every tour since. He's done it in all different sorts of ways, and he's had the Mexican Tijuana brass band on stage with him. He's done all different things, but and he's still performing it, and no doubt we will see him perform it when he's here on December the 16th in 2017.
You going, Shane?
I'm going to be there with brass knobs on. I know. And I'm going to see if they'll have me there, because it's 50 years almost since I released St. Paul, and I thought, wouldn't it be nice to get up and support Paul McCartney and go out there and sing St. Paul for
Wouldn't it be great?
Wouldn't it be enormous? Here in New Zealand, it'd be fantastic.
You want me to make a few phone calls?
Yeah, I do, yeah. Get onto my manager and get them working on it. And Paul did like the song, so, you know, so maybe Paul McCartney... there again, he wrote Obladi Oblada, didn't he?
Funny enough, I was thinking about the tour, and I was thinking, he's still got the pulling power, hasn't he?
Oh, huge.
You think he'll sell out?
Absolutely. Oh, yeah. I mean, there's that thing about it might be the last time you ever see one of the Beatles perform.
Yes, exactly.
And we all want to be there to see that, because we don't. It's the end of an era once he's gone, and it's end of a huge part of our lives. All us baby boomers. We all want to be there to see Paul. Or I remember I went to the last time he was here, the concert, and I left. I was with Doug Harvey from the radio show, you know, and we had a limo waiting outside for us. And I ran to the limo when the show ended at Western Springs, jumped into the limo, and off we went. And I was going to a place called the Judder Bar, which is in Ponsonby, a little bar, you know, for a few drinks with the guys and so on. And we pulled up at the Judder Bar, and there were cars chasing us and following us all the way. And then these women ran up to the windows, and I put my window down of the limo, and she went, "Oh, shit, it's only Shane." She said, "We thought you were Paul McCartney. We've just chased you." That were their very words in the window. How embarrassed was I? "Oh, thanks very much." Zzz, put the window up again. They followed us all the way
from Smart or somewhere.
from the stadium, and they jumped out and they ran up to the car thinking it was going to be Paul McCartney. And they went, "Oh shit, it's only you, Shane." Very demoralising for me.
Now, Shane, time to slap the table?
I think so, yes. Slap.
Shane, I can surmise that tonight's Song of the Week has got
Got
to
to be Obladi Oblada by Paul McCartney, and without the Beatles. But life goes on. Happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday, dear Gerard. Happy birthday, 70.
70, wow.
Wow. Hip, hip, hooray. You made it, mate.
Shane.
There were times there and I didn't think you would.
Thank you for leading the way, Shane.
Good on
Thank
you,
for
buddy.
leading
Good
the
on
way.
you.
Yeah.
And
Thank you for that, Shane.
we'll
That
keep
was
up the
very nice.
celebrations as long as I possibly can.
Now, if anybody else would like to be serenaded by Shane throughout New Zealand, I'm his manager for the day.
Birthday boy.
Just give me a call, a small fee, of course. But,
Of course, oh, yeah, he's always charging.
Yeah, Shane, once again, it's a difficult one this week. It's Obladi Oblada sausage.
That's not too bad. That's about the best one you've come up in 3 or 5,
Yes.
5 years? Obladi Oblada sausage. It doesn't sound vulgar anyway. Usually it's got the wrong connotation for me.
So, Shane, I can only say, Shane,
Yeah,
you've done it again.
Obladi